texting and tax credit outreach. My name is Roxy Caines, and on behalf of the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities Get It Back campaign, I would like to thank you for your participation. The campaign is a national effort to connect workers earning low to moderate wages to tax benefits that provide critical work support. The campaign promotes the Earned Income Tax Credit, the Child Tax Credit, free tax preparation, and other tax benefits that impact low and moderate wage earners. We work with a diverse network of partners, including community organizations, employers, advocacy groups, human service providers, government agencies, financial institutions, faith-based groups, and universities. We support this network by providing outreach tools, trainings like this one, and other resources that allow you to link workers to the tax credits they've earned and claim them using free tax help. If you aren't already a member of the Get It Back campaign, we invite you to learn more, explore our resources, and join us by visiting eitcoutreach.org. Today's training is part of our virtual training series. This series is different from other presentations or webinars in that it features the expertise of campaign partners in the field. This series also focuses on outreach strategies and skills that you can begin to integrate into your work quickly. So now that you are more familiar with who we are, we want to learn more about you and your interest in today's training. We will now launch 2 poll questions. So, for the first question, we'd like to know, how many years has your organization provided free tax filing services? 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, or you don't provide free tax preparation? We'll provide a few more seconds before closing the poll.
The results right there.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, so it looks like 36% of you are at 0 to 10 years, 42% are 10 to 20 years, and 16% are 20 to 30 years, and 7% of you don't provide tax preparation. So now we'll go to the next question. Now, during our registration, we learned that most of you, 68%, work with organizations that are new to texting. 31% of your organizations currently use texting, and 14% of you are unsure if your organization uses texting for any of its programs or services. So for this next question, we'd like for you to share who you are interested in reaching through texting. Okay, we'll give it just a few more seconds before closing the poll. Okay, so here we can see our results. Most of you are interested in connecting with current clients or prospective clients. Several of you would also like to reach volunteers, and about 30% of you are interested in connecting with outreach partners, and 13% mentioned other. If you mentioned other, could you please type in the chat box who you would like to connect with? So thanks everyone for your participation. Now I will turn it over to Annie Fortnow, who will share the relevance of our texting and outreach, and introduce our presenters.
Thank you, Roxy. So why are we talking about texting for outreach today? Most Americans use a cell phone. According to the Pew Research Center's cell phone fact sheet from 2014, nearly 2/3 of U.S. adults own a smartphone, and 90% of all American adults own a cell phone. 84% of American adults earning less than $30,000, our target population, own a cell phone. American adults send or receive more than 40 texts per day on average. Cell phones and texting are clearly relevant in the lives of so many Americans today. There are many benefits of texting and outreach. Firstly, texting is instant. It allows people to find out information in a timely manner. Texting also doesn't require an internet connection. This opens up an opportunity for individuals who cannot afford a Wi-Fi connection or those in rural areas. Even basic phones without data plans can receive text messages. Texting is easy to retrieve. People are becoming more reliant on the cell phone. With cell phones within reach of their fingertips, text messages can quickly be referred to since they are in a location that is already looked at on a regular basis. Texting is also short and informal. It is easy for clients or volunteers to digest and does not take a lot of time to look at and understand. This is especially important when you consider the increasingly busy schedules of Americans. I am pleased to introduce our three speakers for today. First, we will hear from Ana Maria Ceballos. Ana Maria is the VITA Program Coordinator at Hispanic Unity of Florida. Ana Maria has championed the VITA program in Broward County for the past 6 years and managed over 400 volunteers. Through her work with staff and volunteers, she has helped bring back $20 million in refunds to the Broward County community. Prior to joining Hispanic Unity of Florida, Ana Maria worked as a VITA quality reviewer and volunteer at Hispanic Unity of Florida VITA main site. Ana Maria Ceballos holds an MBA from Nova Southeastern University. Next, we will hear from Christine Hozuki. Christine is the outreach coordinator for Prepare and Prosper. She holds a bachelor's degree in sociology and French from Butler University. She draws from experience teaching English, community organizing, and campaign work. Christine started with Prepare and Prosper in December 2014 and is dedicated to spreading the word about Prepare and Prosper's free tax preparation and financial services within the greater Twin Cities. Finally, we will hear from Sue Matkin. Sue is the Vice President for Information Services and Manager of the Income Council for the United Way of Tarrant County. She currently oversees 211 for the county and is responsible for United Way's Earn Well initiative to improve the financial stability of low-income working families. Sue has experience in early childhood training and management, teaching in middle and high school, in banking and nonprofit management. She serves on the boards of the Women's Policy Forum, the Tarrant County Emergency Food and Shelter Program, Literacy Texas, North Texas Asset Funders, and works with many other coalitions and groups. It is my pleasure to introduce Ana Maria Ceballos of Hispanic Unity of Florida.
Thank you, Annie. I would like to go over a little history about Hispanic Unity and the VITA program. Hispanic Unity was founded in 1982 as a haven for immigrants and refugees. Hispanic Unity has grown to serve diverse and multicultural working families from the United States as well as more than 25 other countries. We provide a range of wrap-around services to help more than 70,000 clients for all ages, from school preschoolers to adults, successfully transition to a productive new life. Hispanic Unity offers 12 programs and services in 4 languages: English, Spanish, Haitian, Creole, and Sign Language. VITA program is one of the 12 programs that we have here in Hispanic Unity. In 2002, Hispanic Unity of Florida partnered with several community-based organizations in Broward County to address economic security and self-sufficiency for low-income families. Since 2003, the VITA program and its IRS-certified volunteer force has grown from offering this service at one site to 15 sites, including the traveling RV unit through Broward County. So over the 13 years, we have served more than 44,000 clients and brought back 50.6 million to the community. And we have the help of more than 800 volunteers. This year, this tax season 2016, Hispanic Unity 15 sites opened from January 19 to April 18. We served 5,700 people, and we gave back to the community around 6.3 million in tax refunds. Working with our community partners, we operate one of the largest and most successful free tax preparation programs in South Florida. How we get this? We have the help this year from over 100 volunteers. The volunteers started their training in October 2015. We offer 15 hours of tax law and software training in 8 different locations. So as you see, as you can imagine, it's very difficult to communicate with over 100 volunteers that are going to 8 different classes and different locations and schedules. So our communication with our volunteers should be very good and efficient. So the VITA team evaluate the 3 ways that we can improve the communication with our volunteers. We have 3 ways to do it. We have phone calls, emails, and text messages. I'm not going to go over the table, but you are going to see if you want to communicate with a volunteer, you just want a single volunteer, you can call the volunteer and have a very straightforward communication. But when you have 8 classes and different schedules, you need to send communications to groups or classes. We can do this with the email. The downside of that communication tool is that it can be easily dismissed or be read several days later. So text message is one of the ways that we would like to communicate with the volunteers. So last year we asked ourselves why we need to send text messages to the volunteers. And it's simple. Texting is better for everyone in time-sensitive situations. So, for example, if we want to change a schedule in our classes, or a class needs to be canceled for any reason, the text message is the right way to do it. So we start trying to find the right tool for us. Many ideas came like when we use WhatsApp or regular texting. Finally, we find the solution that is Remind. Remind is a tool that is very popular with the teachers and school parents. And this tool is very good because it protects the volunteer privacy and numbers. So this tool can be operated by a teacher or an instructor. The instructor teacher can create groups and just send the message to each group as a unique code. They have a unique code and you can customize those messages. So this tool is very good for us. We can support a very good communication with our volunteers, texting them. So the message was delivered instantly. The advantage of this tool is that you can also attach documents if you want. It's accessible by all communication devices. You don't need a smartphone. You can use a regular phone, or you can just receive text messages in your computer. Provides efficient ways to sign up. So in order to just keep the privacy of our volunteers, we need their corresponding sign-up and permission to take them back. So that's very important. Can be operated by more than one person, so we can do it, I can do it, or my instructors can do it. And again, the privacy protection of both parties engaged in the communication is very good. So we find a lot of benefits, and we start to create our classes. We have 8 classes, as you can see. We create the classes, and the volunteer is doing the way that we add into the system is doing the work adding. The volunteer himself or herself in the operation can monitor, and the addition to the app and the mobile phone. So you can just download the application, and you can the text message as soon as you give us permission. The message can be sent to one person. If the instructor needs to just communicate just with one volunteer, there is no length or limitation of character, so you can send a direct message to them. Or if you want to send it to a group, you have a limitation of 140 characters, but then you can just send other multiple announcements and also add documents. Again, the privacy of the operators and the participant is protected. When the participants receive the message, they see a local phone number, not the actual number, and in return, the operator or us, in this case, see only the name of the participant. So this tool is very efficient. You can perform different actions. One of them is schedule messages for later, or you can attach files, or you can just add voice clips for your volunteers. So the results were very good. Here you can see the different options that this tool offers to sign up. Last year when we started classes, we used the option number 1, that was to add phone numbers and emails to the applications, and then send a text to the volunteer. When the volunteer responds to us, is giving us permission to start a communication through text message. This year we are going to use the code for each our classes, the specific code for our classes, and we are going to go to the classes and ask the volunteers to text us with that code. In that way, we can open the text communication between the volunteers and our program instructors. So we learned many things last year about this tool, and we continue this year to use it. The results is 206 volunteers were invited to communicate to Remind. 46% of the VITA volunteers respond positively or accept to be contacted through the text message. And even though we use the tool only to communicate with the VITA classes, then during the tax season, we use the tool to communicate with volunteers. As you know, the tax season is very, very busy, and we need to just send messages, for example, in case that we need additional volunteers at a specific site. So we receive a very instant answer from our volunteers, and in that way we can plan ahead. Through the text message, 60% of our volunteers responded. The same message was sent through an email, and only 10% of the volunteers responded. So we think that this year we are going to use these 2 tools, but definitely the text message is a good tool to communicate with volunteers. Thank you so much. This is all that I have. If you have any questions or suggestions, this is my contact information.
Thank you so much, Ana Maria. We will now hear from Christine Hozuki from Prepare and Prosper.
Thank you, Annie, and thank you for joining us today on the training. My name is Christine Hozuki, and I am the Outreach Coordinator at Prepare and Prosper. I'm excited to share how Prepare and Prosper has integrated texting into our communication and outreach strategy. During this portion of the training, I will give an overview of Prepare and Prosper, talk about what led us to start texting, discuss the content and strategy of our text messages, and provide an overview of our texting software, Trumpia. I will also share some of the challenges and successes that we have had with texting in the 1.5 years that we have been doing it. For those of you who may not be familiar with Prepare and Prosper, we are a tax and financial services nonprofit based in St. Paul, Minnesota. You might know us from our former name, Accountability Minnesota. Prepare and Prosper has a 45-year history of running and promoting programs and policies that foster financial health and wealth for low to moderate income households. We do so by way of free tax preparation, tax time financial services, and savings promotion, and our volunteer-based financial coaching program. Prepare and Prosper also manages a statewide earned income tax credit outreach campaign called Claim It. Additionally, we've received funding to bring a suite of products to the Twin Cities. We're leading and working with individuals on what's called the FAIR Initiative, which stands for Financial Access and Reach. The goal is to distribute products that provide a safe and affordable way to transact, save, and build credit for individuals who are under or unbanked. Lastly, we work with policymakers to support and move forward policies that foster financial health and wealth for low-income families. So to give you a full sense of the size, scope, and capacity of Prepare and Prosper, we have a full-time staff of 19, seasonal staff of 40, and a team of more than 550 volunteers. Each year, we serve approximately 14,000 taxpayers and return $27 million in refunds, of which $1.9 million is saved. Prepare and Prosper also enrolls 60 participants into our financial coaching program, Money Mentors, twice a year, and provides technical assistance to 13 organizations throughout Minnesota who collectively operate 20 VITA sites. We started using texting as a way to diversify how we reach people. We emailed our customers, but we were searching for more effective and quicker ways of communication. Texting is not our primary tool and tactic for communication, but it supports email and our community presence by reinforcing our message. Our open rate for emails is low, around 10%, and we wanted to reach more customers. We asked ourselves, how else can we reach people, as email is no longer proving to be an effective standalone communication method for us. Studies show that people need to see a message 7 times before they take action. So getting in front of people with the same message by several different means, email, text, outreach, social media, and snail mail supports the research to have people take action. A funding opportunity opened up and we received a grant. This grant allowed us to purchase the texting software Trumpia, and we immediately integrated the texting platform into our communication strategy with our financial coaching program, Money Mentors, as well as our Matched Savers program. Our participants in Money Mentors received monthly texts the day before their appointment to remind them of the time and place, while our Matched Savers received monthly text or monthly savings nudges to remind customers who saved at tax time of financial tips and tools they could use. Our Money Mentors program was just getting up off the ground, and there was a need for more outreach and a multi-approach to getting the word out about it. So in addition to reminding participants about their appointments, we also used it to promote the intro sessions. Social media, email, Craigslist, outreach, and texting all became integral to getting the word out about the free financial coaching. Texting, in the end, has provided us a way to connect all our services and cross-promote messages to different audiences. It supports long-term goals to connect and remind people to save throughout the year, as well as keep us on the radar more than once a year, not just when they are getting their taxes done. We are able to maintain a year-round relevance through texting. We are still experimenting and learning with how to better improve our texting communication. We are also still experimenting with how people join our text alerts and sign up for this form of communication. Currently, the customers who sat down with a financial manager or financial advocate at a tax clinic were asked to complete a financial service intake sheet. On the intake sheet is a question about how we can keep in touch with them, phone, email, or text messages. People may opt in based on how they would like to be communicated with and with what additional information they would like to hear about. General Prepare and Prosper updates, which includes the tax updates, savings nudges, or more information about money mentors. We currently engage with about 1,050 of our customers through texting. We've started small with this new method of communication. Currently, only people that talk to a financial manager, which is around 25 to 30% of our total 14,000 customer base, are eligible to get this communication. We have not figured out how to incorporate cell phone number collecting into the tax process. People also may opt in using a keyword sign-up, which I will talk more about in a minute. The content of our messages promote recruitment for Prepare and Prosper programs and events, tax tips, monthly savings nudges and reminders, and events in the community. As I've mentioned, texting is a supplement to our communication efforts and reinforces the cross-promotion of our different programs to remain relevant at other times of the year outside of tax season. In our taxpayer survey, we included a question asking if our customers have smartphones. 70% of them said yes, they do. With a large customer base able to access text and the internet on their phone, we know it's something to keep expanding. So on this slide are some examples of texts we have done. To promote our off-season tax clinics this summer, we sent a tax tip to all of our customers to remind them to schedule an appointment for property taxes. In another tax tip, we promoted a tax credit in Minnesota that allows for parents to save money on school supplies by increasing their tax refund or reducing the amount that they owe at tax time. To get the word out about this tax credit, we reminded parents to save the necessary receipts. An example of a recruitment text for our free financial coaching program encourages people to RSVP to an intro session. And finally, with our monthly savings nudges, we remind customers to continue saving after tax time, for instance, with the Black Friday text. The Trumpia software is super user-friendly. Everything is hosted right online through their website, trumpia.com, so you can access it anywhere with your login and password. The functions that we have explored so far are sending messages, reminders, multi-channel voting, yes-no responses, and keyword sign-ups. I will go into more detail about two of the most used functions for us. The send message function is our go-to. We use this form of message the most often, and our general format is to start with something catchy and prompt our customers to take action and learn more at a website via a shortened link. In less preferred instances, we give them a phone number to call. I will share later why using a web link is preferred. Also, with only 123 characters, we have to be limited with what we can include in our text messages. Including a link in a text message counts as 22 characters alone. The same text message can also be sent as an email. The second function we use is keyword signups. We have multiple keywords to segment audiences and be specific with our messages. These are a great way to have someone quickly engaged to get more information in the future. For example, if someone texts taxes, they will enroll into our monthly text about tax tips and happenings at Prepare and Prosper. If they text piggy bank to our number, they will automatically enroll into our monthly savings text. Our Money Mentor sign-up is specifically to learn more about our financial coaching program. When people are imported to the Trumpia system or opt in via a keyword sign-up, they first receive a welcome message outlining the federal regulations of how many texts they will receive per month and what types of messages they will be receiving. The second message is a customizable message that everyone receives the first time they are imported to a list. You can see an example on the screen of what this message looks like. Finding a keyword can be a challenge if the word you want has already been used. For example, savers and saving were already taken, leading us to use piggy bank. We are working on ways to communicate the keyword sign up, but this past tax season, we had it in our tax season brochure, as well as the thank you card that customers received at the end of the tax prep service. We had 25 people sign up with these two low-touch approaches. Next year, we are looking to put the keyword sign up directly on the customer envelope, which is something that people tend to hold on to. So in our opinion, these are some challenges and successes that we have found with texting. The first challenge is it's a text. You have very limited space to convey the exact message you want, with only 123 characters. Oftentimes, the message is a teaser with a link to learn more information. This, however, is not ideal for the 30% of our customer base who do not have a smartphone or a way to access internet on their phone. With this, timing is key. If it is not relevant immediately, people forget about it or do not take action. Texts are tied to urgency, so the message is most useful when it is tied to a moment in time. For example, promo text from a brand, take a flight check-in, a promotional deal at a store, or a restaurant reservation. How can we incorporate this mentality into our outreach? We have drawn from this concept in our Black Friday text and back-to-school shopping reminder. The final challenge we have had is knowing a text message's success rate. It is different from an email because you cannot track whether text was opened only if there was an action taken. For example, if a link was clicked or someone responded with a yes/no response. If you simply have a text message with no links, to be considerate of those who may not have a smartphone, you can only measure how many people the text was sent to and how many times the message was not delivered or it failed. With having a link, there are oftentimes websites that are not mobile compatible yet and can be hard to read on smartphones. For successes, this way of communication is an additional touch point to reinforce our messages year-round. As I mentioned before, taxes is typically a once-a-year thought for most people, so we wanted to think of ways to stay on our customers' radar more than at tax time. It also increases our retention rate and show rate at events and appointments with reminders. Texting can also be a quick way to get a sample survey of a subgroup when polling the audience. For example, with a yes/no response or multi-channel voting function. And as has already been said, texting is relevant, and almost everyone has a cell phone and utilizes texting. So I appreciate you following along, and please let me know at the end if you have any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. We will now hear from Sue Matkin from the United Way of Tarrant County.
Sorry, I had it still on mute. This is Sue Matkin. I'm the Vice President of Community Development here at United Way. And I oversee 211 in the VITA program. We just completed our 7th year with VITA and did around 8,000, just over 8,000 returns. The Earn Well initiative has 4 very interrelated strategies. Income support, which is pretty much our VITA program, skills-based job training, certification programs in high-demand occupations in the county, financial coaching, and adult education. Along with our VITA program, we have a strong savings program built into that and a very targeted EIPC outreach. When we started using texting a couple of years ago, we were really looking for creative ways to reach new potential VITA clients, especially in communities where we were seeing that we were not having participants participate at our VITA sites. At many of our outreach events, we saw repeatedly that almost everybody at the back-to-school events and the Cowboy Santas had phones with them. Many of them were texting, so we decided that we would try that. Just like Anne Marie and Christine said, we were very thoughtful about thinking about multiple ways to get the same message out over the years and not just at tax time. One of the ways that we got the initial texting out were these coupons that we developed. So at the bottom of the coupon, it said text your zip code and had a number. We were using the same approach in our job training materials, and that had a different number to text to. In the initial phases, staff at the agencies that were providing the services had to respond back to the clients. We then changed it to where they got an automatic message back that linked them to our Free Taxes DFW website. On that website, we had a map which showed all of our. On the coupons too, we offered, we could send electronic copies to companies and to cities that they could drop their logos in and do some outreach, anything that would give some credibility to that, as well as them feeling comfortable to text with us. The process is that they texted their zip code, they received a link back with a map. The map actually shows Dallas County and Tarrant County sites. We had 14 here in Tarrant County, which shows the site, the hours of operation, days that it was open, so that they could then select the site that was most appropriate to them. They also could look at access to Free Taxes DFW to learn more. In the last year, we have worked with Dallas United Way and have a broader umbrella site that they land on, which is My Money DFW, and has all kinds of FIDA information, but also information on coaching and other things that are asset building things. It worked much better once we had an automatic message back and not relying on agency staff who sometimes tended to forget to look at the texts that were coming in. Partnerships, our United Way Income Council oversees the work. We had a volunteer from our council that owns his own marketing company. The volunteers provide us with expertise, opinions, and suggestions. They had a lot of ideas about how we could expand our marketing work. One member, a volunteer, a very exceptional young man, was 24, had his own marketing company, and worked with us, put us in touch with the CRM text program for us to use. He actually worked as a liaison with them, and they customized a delivery system for us to use our texting work. Whoops. Let me go back for a second. The Earn Well initiative are those 4 strategies that I talked about in the beginning. We have an advantage in that we use a shared database for 6 different agencies. We have the City of Fort Worth, Catholic Charities, and Foundation Communities who do VITA, the Women's Center who does job training, Tarrant County Community College who does the adult education, and Family Pathfinders. They all input their data in one database. So when we get ready to do our texting outreach, we're able to access phone numbers across this whole spectrum of work. And we normally touch about 10,000 people a year that we can then put information back out to. We also work with organizations that host our VITA sites. This year, in order to grow it, we have an intern from the university who's a marketing intern that we hope to really improve our outreach. We found that our texts were most widely recepted during the early part of tax season. Texting helped us reach. It did help us reach some neighborhoods that we were not into. It was an easy way to expand our outreach, very cost efficient. The challenge in the first several years is that the clients had to text us first. So it really was an opt-in program. Our initial uptake was really much smaller than we had anticipated. And the other challenge is the one I mentioned, where we had to wait for our agencies to sometimes respond. So we corrected both of those and are seeing a much better uptake. As we move into this new year, we have several concerns, especially in regards to the PATH Act, which was enacted on December 18th, 2015. It's the Protecting Americans from Tax Hike Acts of 2015. Goes into effect January the 1st of 2017. But what's going to be challenging is that many of our low-income families who receive EITC and anybody who receives additional child tax credit, their returns are going to be held until February 15th. And here we have large for-profit companies that we know will be offering people loans 2 doors down from us. There's a Liberty tax site, and they're always out there in their Statue of Liberty costumes, and I'm sure they're going to have big signs which say, "Get your money today." So we are going to be, we're working on a very proactive approach for this tax season to try to avoid many of our low-income families, especially those that get earned income tax, from taking out tax loans. We also remind VITA clients every year with our opening dates with a postcard, but this year we're going to go out to all of them on on the opening day, all of their tax text. With EITC, we're going to only text the families that did receive EITC so that we don't have other clients concerned. We have a large tax time saving program called 30-40-30. We're going to be sending out 30-40-30 messages, and that campaign is 30%. So think about using 30% of their return to pay down some high interest debt, take 40% to have fun now, and then use that final 30% to save or invest. And we are seeing a huge increase each year, and we think if we can send out some messaging and texting ahead of time, we can maybe even promote that at a greater deal once they get to the site, because they will have already heard about it a couple of times. And then providing all kinds of information outside, but without texting so much that we end up getting blocked. Why we believe that texting is very worth the effort. There's very minimal staff time in the process. It's very easy to do. It's a proactive approach that you can work with client recruitment, but also with volunteer recruitment. Volunteer retention, sending little messages back during the tax season saying what our return level is at this point to the volunteers, different messages to the clients, but an easy way to add to the newsletters and the websites and the other things that we have. It's a very easy way for clients to access information on their phones. They can pull up that website and look at the map right on their phones. And we found that there's a very high appeal to the millennials, which is a group that we have not been reaching to a great extent at our site. So thank you very much, and look forward to any questions.
Thank you so much, Sue, as well as Christine and Anna Maria, for sharing all of your knowledge and your experience using texting in tax credit outreach. We now want to open it up to questions. So as a reminder, you can type in your question in the chat box in the control panel. And we will have Annie let us know what questions have come in.
This is a question for all of the presenters. The keypad is on the cell phone is pretty small. Will your texting software allow our users to use the laptop keyboard? It might be easier to type a little bit faster on the laptop keyboard than on a cell phone.
I believe that they can use either with ours. I may have to check with them and get back. but I believe that you can use a pad anyway to be able to text and text back.
Thank you, Sue. Anna Maria or Christine?
Yes, with our tool, you can receive text and answer text messages through your computer, so you will have access to a key.
Thank you. And
Yeah, and
Christine?
I'll just add that something that we've not really explored, I guess, with the amount of people that do use cell phones, we just have assumed that people are familiar with using the keyboard on the cell phones, but you raise a good point, so good question.
Thank you. In addition to the social media management applications you are using, are there others you have tested or recommend we evaluate? This
is the only one we've used.
Okay. Anna Maria or Christine, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter as well, so with texting for social media. So
We use Twitter and Facebook too for social media. Those are the two tools that we use with VITA in general, not just with our volunteers.
Okay, thank you.
Again, we do use all of those. I thought you meant a second, had we tried another texting company to use.
And this is for all the presenters as well. What are the key factors for evaluating different texting software?
We looked at ease of use, especially when we decided to get away from agencies having to respond back to each text and to make it automatic. And we found that this company was very receptive to designing it in any way that we thought was most effective.
Thank you.
For us, that was because this tool is used already by many teachers around the United States. So we know that the tool is working, and again, the security, the privacy of the tool is very good. So that was one of the first things that we think when we choose the tool.
yeah, and for us, with choosing the software Trumpia, it was mainly based on cost and easy usability. We had a tech guy on staff that made this recommendation and worked to find something that was going to be easy for somebody to just jump in and use.
Thank you. Our next question is just for Sue. How are you sorting client cell phone numbers to identify those who received EITC last year?
In our database, when we're hoping we can do it with TaxSlayer, but with TaxWise, we added additional questions at the end of the tax return, and one of them was, did they receive EITC? So then we upload from a spreadsheet the information from TaxWise into ETO. So we know which people, we have consent, they sign consent when they come into the tax site for us to use the information. So we know which individuals have received EITC.
Thank you. For Anna Maria, do you text volunteers outside of the tax season at all?
Sorry? I didn't hear the question.
Oh, do you text volunteers outside of the tax season at all? One more time, do you text volunteers outside of the tax season at all, Anna Maria?
We offer I didn't hear the question well, but I understand if our volunteers as outside of the tax season are all, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, we offer extended hours tax preparation, so some of our volunteers continue with us. Any ways to follow up and continue engage the volunteers, we continue to text them during out of the tax season, just to give them updates of the hours, or if we are going to have we offer a picnic to them to say thank you to them, so we text into the May. And then our plan is to do it again right now when we are going to start to recruit volunteers and to make contact again with the former volunteers.
Okay, thank you. This is for all of the speakers. Do you have one person in charge of all of your texting outreach, or do you allow VitaSite coordinators and others to handle more targeted texting efforts as well?
We have one person so that we can control the number of texts that are going out. We wanted to be very careful about how many texts we send to individuals during the year, just so we don't get blocked.
Yeah, and I'm also I'm also the only one that manages the text, just given staff capacity and the communication behind it. So.
Okay, thank you. Question for Christine. How does the content of your text messages differ from your other forms of outreach?
Yeah, for the most part, the monthly savings nudges and the monthly tax tips actually follow the same format as what we send out in an email, or the same content. So if we are promoting the Minnesota K-12 education credit in a text, we're also promoting it longer through an email. So the content month to month usually matches up. It's just really the length is a lot shorter.
Okay, thank you. For all of the presenters, how many texts is your organization sending out per month?
This is Sue. Ours would probably be no more than one a month. Maybe in tax season, there may be 2 or 3 the month prior, but ours are somewhat limited.
Yeah.
And Christine, with Prepare and Prosper, we do about 1 a month as well to each audience, but we do have the lenience to do up to 3 a month. And so in cases like during tax season or when we are recruiting for money mentors, we're able to do additional ones if needed.
In our case, because it's during the tax season and we communicate only with volunteers, we can send 5 to 6 messages. Depends on what is the message. Sometimes it's because we need volunteers. Sometimes it's because we need to cancel any schedule. It depends. It varies from 5 to 6 to 7 text messages per month.
Thank you. For Anna Maria, could Remind be used to text clients?
No. We don't use our text messages to send any kind of text to our clients. We only use this tool for our volunteers. And I learned a lot from Sue and Christine about text clients that we don't use. We have not implemented that in our site yet.
Okay, thank you. For Sue, have you come up with any ways to address the challenge of clients having to initiate the texting process?
Yes, for this coming year, the forms that all the tax sites, and even last year, gave us in the consent is that we could contact them. So that's why this year we're going to be proactive and text them to begin with instead of just waiting for them to text us. We'll have the option to do both. But our uptake was just way too slow on waiting for them to text. So we're going to use everybody that gave us permission, then we'll be able to use it from the pulling it up from TaxWise. We've already pulled it out so that we have it before the end of first or end of October.
Thank you. For Christine, what's the next step for your use of text messaging? What do you hope to change or expand?
I think our biggest thing is we want more people on the list that we can communicate with, especially since we have 14,000 customers each year, and right now we're texting with just over 1,000 of them. So that's the biggest thing that we want to expand, and whether that means getting people on to opt in to give us their number, or whether they are texting in that keyword to join.
All right, thank you again to all of our speakers for your insightful presentations, and thank you to everyone for your participation. As a recap, let's go over the opportunities for texting and tax credit outreach efforts. As Anna Maria shared, texting allows you to communicate with volunteers easily and efficiently. As Christine explained, you can use texting to let a broad base of clients know about the services and advocacy of your organization on a regular basis. As Sue presented, texting provides an opportunity for clients to find out about, say, VITA sites in their area and allows them to find the resources they need quickly and efficiently. Let's now hear from Roxy about how to stay connected with the Get It Back campaign to find out about more opportunities like this training and other outreach resources.
Okay, thanks again everyone for your participation. We definitely encourage you to stay connected and look at some of the other resources that we have available on our website, as well as our blog and our Facebook page. And if you don't already receive updates from us, we invite you to sign up to get email updates, and we will keep you informed of other trainings like this one, as well as some new resources that we'll be coming out with in the next couple of months. We've heard from some of you about needing more support around recruiting and retaining volunteers, so we have lots of information that we'll be sharing to help you with that. And if you have any questions that we did not get to answer during today's presentation, please do email us at eitcoutreach@cbpp.org, and we'll definitely make sure that the presenters will follow up. And we will be sharing the recording, slides, and any other resources with you within the next week. So thank you again for your participation, and we look forward to connecting with you next time.